hope you're having a fabulous day. I'm Kai, and we are going to be going over how to do the hundreds correctly. The hundreds are a classical Pilates exercise and really are just super fun to do. They get your blood flowing and your arms moving and your core working, your abs working, and like all things, they can be a little confusing. So I'm going to go over this separately, and if you can watch this whenever you have a question about the hundreds. Okay, so we're going to get started lying down. And if you're unfamiliar with the concepts of neutral spine or imprinted spine, then please, or how to engage your core properly, then please go back and look at those video tutorials that explain those concepts, and that'll make your hundreds so much easier to do. So first, lying on your back, you're gonna go ahead and deepen those abdominals and lengthen your spine into a long imprinted position. The lower back is gonna be lengthened gently into the mat, and the tailbone is kind of curling up towards the nose. Abdominals are pulling in, so you're engaging your core, and you're gonna keep your lower back in imprint, or if you're not supposed to be in flexion, or if that doesn't feel comfortable for you, you can be in neutral, and ideally you're using that lumbar supported neutral. Okay, so from there, we're gonna stay lying down. You're gonna bring your arms over your head, and the first thing I want you to do is imagine that chin glide, pulling the chin back, connecting, opening up the eyes in the back of the head, almost like you're trying to give yourself a double chin, and you're gonna keep the chin very active and back, and the back of the ribs are also gonna stay really wide. Your arms are gonna float down by your side, and you're gonna start pulsing the arms here, okay? And so this is not just like an easy peasy little, see how I'm like, woo, that's not what's happening. Your arms are gonna stay really firm and long. Your wrists are gonna stay long. We don't wanna break at the wrists in either direction. And notice though, if I'm not stabilizing through my core, what'll happen? Do you see my head is kind of moving a little bit, and I'm like kind of just laying around a little bit. So instead, we want to connect all through here, connect the head back, keep the ribs wide. And as you're doing this, there's very minimal movement through the torso. However, you are pulsing pretty hard, and you're also keeping the chest open, so we don't want to see ourselves in this position, letting the chin, letting the shoulders roll forward. So those shoulders are staying nice and back. And then we're going to learn a breathing pattern here. Okay, so to begin with, we're just going to breathe in as we pulse 5 times. And then you're going to exhale. Okay, so you're breathing in for 5 counts through the nose, breathing out for 5 counts through the mouth as the arms are pulsing, all right? So that is the basic movement of the hundreds, and you can guess you do it 100 times, okay? 100 sets, basically. Scratch that, 100 reps, 10 sets. And so at any time when you're doing the hundreds, because it is done up in an abdominal curl, you can return to this flat back position and be totally, you're still working. You're still going to get a lot of the benefits of the hundreds, so remember that. And then the other thing to keep in mind is that there's varying leg positions for the hundreds, okay? So we're going to practice the curl with our legs down, and then we're going to learn some other leg positions. So arms are going to float up. You're going to breathe in, exhale, press through heavy air, deepening those abdominals, curling up, and remember your chin glide. Hands come by your side. So here we go. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good, so rest. Okay, so that is going to be kind of the next step. Spine is nice and steady, legs are supported, we've curled up. Now, if that feels like you need some support in your neck position, you can do this with one arm. However, it gets a lot harder, a lot faster. So what you would do in that position is basically curl up with your supported position, and then you're going to stretch one arm down and do your hundreds with one arm. And I actually do this sometimes just because, well, it's a whole new challenge of stability. And so you would do that about half the time, and then halfway through you would switch. Good. And then you might notice that when I'm breathing in, my abdominals might be kind of, coming up a little bit. And that's natural. When you're in an ab curl, you're breathing in. You are trying to breathe into the ribs and keep those abdominals held the whole time. But that's what we're working towards. And so if that happens, just make sure that on the exhale, you reconnect and re-engage. And that's going to be fine. Okay, so now let's go through some different leg positions. So first stop, basically feet down. Next stop, it's like a bus stop, right? Next stop is going to be legs into tabletop. Okay, now pulling them in towards your chest, like where knees are closer to your chest, is going to be a little bit more stable than straight out over the hips. So you can play with that. Arms are going to float up towards the ceiling. Exhale, curl up, squeeze those inner thighs together, and inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you want more challenge, you would take those legs straight up towards the ceiling. They don't have to be all the way straight. And exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. And exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you could even lower the legs slightly as long as you keep that back steady, right? So hopefully you've practiced that skill someplace else, not just in the hundreds for the first time. That is a skill that we learn through leg lowers and all sorts of activities, toe taps. So make sure you've practiced that someplace other than the hundreds. And so basically, you would lower those legs to where you can keep your low back steady, right? And then there's also the 1 inch hovered off the ground. Now, this is definitely the traditional position. And guess what? That is actually not as hard on the lower back as having the legs kind of out at that angle. This angle, there's a lot of load put through the lower back through the psoas, and when those legs are just kind of hovering up just a little bit, you're able to really support the leg position through the glutes. So normally when I teach this with legs kind of straight up or bent, or maybe out at a little angle, but it is fun to do kind of lengthen all the way out, right? So you'd have spine long, legs long, connect that tailbone down and up, and hover up. And rest. So I encourage you to try different positions of the 100. See which one feels best for you. Definitely start, with the first bus stop and then work your way on up. And then remember, at any time when you're doing the workouts, if your back starts to bother you or your neck starts to bother you, you can lower your legs down and you can lower your head down and continue just pulsing the arms. And that's going to give you a lot of work through your hundreds. Okay, so hopefully this answered any questions you might have about the hundreds. If you have more, feel free to comment below and I will get back to you. Okay, thank you. Have a great day and I will talk to you later. Bye.